So I was in a bar, and this was a few years back, and I was talking to a girl, bought her a drink, and I heard her, kind of like singing under her breath to the song that was on. And I said, "Oh, do you sing?" And she said, "Only in the shower." And I said, "I'd love to hear you sometime." Hi, everyone. How are you? Happy Monday evening. It's rainy. It's 40 degrees in Queens here, and I swear it feels like a November day. I hope you're all doing well. Unscripted Adventures, Episode 8. Now, as you know, unscripted means no script. Very rarely do I ever come on here with anything to say important. Once in a while, I look out and you may learn something, but generally you don't. I'm not saying you come out of here stupider than you were, but probably more aware of "Ugh, this guy." But let me tell you something. I was watching, binge watching over the last 3 weeks to a month, this TV series called The Rookie. And when you start watching something and then you start wondering the premise and all that, and it is very left leaning. Um, it signifies the change in America where most couples are interracial. Uh, a gay police officer dating a man, and all the stuff that happens in LA, probably more so than other cities. And originally, I was taken back by it. Originally, it was like, oh, even this, come on. Then I realized how wonderful it is to be able to pronounce proudly who you are, what you feel, and what it's all about to be you. And I have to tell you, after watching a few more episodes, and I'm into season 5, so that's how much I binged. It's a wonderful thing to be able to be yourself. Hey, Mitch, to be able to be yourself and try to understand who you are. Think about it. You and I, if we are pretty conventional, maybe you're a church goer, a temple goer, whatever faith, you are spiritual. We have a hard time thinking about who we are. So many times, and I don't go to church often. I did when I was younger. I went to Catholic school for a few years, but I'd walk out on a Sunday feeling, God, I'm not a good Catholic. And I might have saved someone's life that week. It makes you think that you need to do better. And I really believe church, temple, wherever you go, mosque, it's designed to reset you for Monday morning. It's like taking a medication. When I hurt my shoulder, it's 8 or 9 weeks today. You take a painkiller First hour, you feel good. Second hour, third hour, it starts wearing off, and then you are ready for the next one. Well, that's kind of how we live during the week. Monday morning, you're probably really nice after hearing the sermon on Sunday. By Thursday or Friday, you've slipped. And then you get back into church or temple or wherever you go Sunday and you reset for Monday. But is that all it? Do we really look at ourselves and care enough to say, I'm not the person I want to be? And then are we brave enough to change it? I know a lot of people that aren't churchgoers, yet they do whatever they can for people on a regular basis. They're just good people. And you have people that go to church that are horrendous people. I know a couple of them. So where's the checks and balance system? Is it within us? Do we, and if we're lost, how are we responsible enough to give the answer? It's kind of like giving the keys to someone who's more drunk than you are. Are they worthy of taking the responsibility? And that's what it is. If we're confused, how do we get there? And that's where, I guess, because I don't go, parishioners, a solid family background, support system. You've heard that ad nauseum, right? To have a really solid support system helps you in anything, right? Think about it. If you're a young teen and you're in high school and there's a war in your house every night and your parents are screaming and you hear dishes flying, is that conducive to studying? Would it be so out of bounds to think that this student's probably going to have problems, right? If you have a nice, tranquil house, sweetheart, did you do your homework? Great. Would you like a cup of hot chocolate? You know, I'm embellishing to clarify here, but that kid probably has a better chance of getting a good night's sleep and maybe doing well. But it's not a fail-safe plan. How many criminals are sitting with lifetime sentences and their parents were wonderful people? How many kids came from real mixed up backgrounds and became very successful? So the excuses are your own. I go over this with Mitch quite a bit. Mitch's life has changed. He was diagnosed last January before this past January, with myeloma, very controllable cancer, but yet that big C word. He gave up his car during the tough months of being in and out of the hospital and getting better. And, he couldn't really walk because of mechanical issues in the back, some broken bones and stuff, which was as a result of that cancer, which weakens the bones. Now he's pretty much on the mend, but he doesn't drive. No fault of his own. He gave up the car because of the prohibitive price. Car insurance in New York, I pay $10,000 for 3 cars, probably more. And God forbid a car payment, and gas is higher now. To maintain the maintenance on a car, especially if you don't get a new one, is going to be prohibitive. His life has changed a great deal. The carefree attitude of being able to just go out anytime he wants. Now it's a bit of a hassle because now it takes more planning for him to go out and do something. And we have these talks, and he convinces himself after a good talk that I'm fine. And then the next day he's miserable again. because he looks out the window to the left and his parking spot is empty. Who does it fall upon to get him back into the functioning world that will make him happy? Is it on his friends to make sure they go pick him up and bring him where they're going? Is it on God to say, okay, I've given you enough, go play the lotto? Or is it on him? Is it up to him to say, all right, Accessory doesn't always show up. Well, I'm going to take a chance at this time it does. And if it doesn't, I won't like it, but I have to call car service. But I am going to get to where everybody is hanging out if it kills me, because it's killing me not to. Because when I sit and stare at my four walls, it's breaking me down to the point where I'm disappearing. And eventually, I won't even see my own picture or face in the mirror. Life is tough. And it's hard for me to believe that anybody ever told you otherwise. I was going to say whoever told you it isn't is lying to you, but I'm sure no one told you it was easy. I didn't think it would be this tough, though. And I have it relatively good. And I always have these little talks with Mitch to hang in there. Don't let your unfortunate situation beat you, because you're stronger than that, especially the guy I know is, because he has overcome things his whole life. I was remember I did a depression show because a young lady that I'm counseling as a student with the life and health coaching asked me to, and I hadn't done one in quite a while. It's not exactly a great topic, but it's a crucial topic because life is tougher today than it was when we were kids. Now, also, we have more responsibility with our age group now than we did when we were kids. That was our parents' job, to put the food on the table. Maybe we helped with a job or something, but for the most part, when you borrowed mom and dad's car, mom and dad were paying for the insurance and if there was a car payment. And now it's on us. We are mom and dad. We are the elders at the table now. That's what gets me more than anything. When I'm sitting at the table, and I used to be the young one, and now I'm one of the older ones, that gets me. Because I have to admit to myself that the mirror, which the proverbial mirror are those people sitting at that table. When I look at them, I'm not getting a reflection of myself. I'm getting a reflection of youth and getting a sense of, I used to be you. And boy, when I was 25, were the elders looking at me saying, I remember you. Yeah, they were. They were. Think about it. If you're at a dinner table at a holiday, it doesn't even have to be a holiday, but generally speaking, that's when everyone would be gathered. Inevitably, a story comes out from a 75-year-old about when they were young, or an 80-year-old. A story will come out. Oh, you guys have it easy. When I walked to school, I had to walk 5 miles. The other one, I had to walk 5 miles with my holes in my shoes. The other one, shoes, who had feet? That's the way it is. Everyone's trying to outdo each other, and you just sit there and laugh your ass off and pick up the pieces with the story. Oh, that's great that you have to go home tonight and take all your meds. I'm going dancing tonight. You can really grab them if you want. but you don't want to do that. You want to be nice. I'm not the guy anymore to say, oh, I'm going dancing, because I'm not. So, how do we deal with the sudden urge to just scream at the top of our lungs? I feel like going into the bathroom and looking at the mirror and going, Vinny, where are you? You look like him. The younger Vinny comes out in spurts. If he comes out playing ball in the yard with his nephews, he feels it the next day, the older Vinny. But for that moment, the younger Vinny was on the softball field practicing for a game Sunday. We all suffer from missing the younger Vinny, or the younger Mitch, the younger Lee, whomever you are. You miss the days when you were the young one at the table. And then we think about it, and inevitably, did we do enough with our younger days, or did we waste? And I get a lot of that too. I'll talk to people that'll say, I should have done more. I let my whole life go by because I never thought that I would get here. And it's not that I never thought that I would get to this ripe old age. I never thought of this ripe old age because you don't think about that. You're not in the car half hammered out of your mind on your way to your third club that night with your friends, sitting back at a pensive moment saying, I wonder when I'm 69 what I'm going to be doing. You don't do that. The question you'll ask is, so how many girls you think will be here tonight? Or you think that girl from last week will be? That's what you're talking about. So you don't prepare yourself for the inevitable, which is a pill case sorted out for each day, maybe a cane, maybe a once a month visit to the heart doctor. Hey, Pauline, it's a wake-up call. And I don't mean it to be that way, but, a couple of things happened today. And thank you for coming in. It's a very, very, when I worked in England, it was a different time. It was 1991. Hey, Travis, how are you, man? It's been a minute. How you doing? Do you wear the brooklynguy hat, Travis? There was a time I would go to the Hippodrome. Pauline, there was a club in Piccadilly Circus called the Hippodrome. Great club. And they loved guys from New York and Chicago. And Angus Steakhouse was a chain there, steakhouses. And I used to go through Hyde Park. If you cut through Hyde Park or Green Park, you can get to Parliament. So you cut through it, you save yourself a big walk around. And I used to hang out at Harrods, and, Harrods, picture twice Macy's Herald Square, where they're selling caviar and they're giving you samples in the basement. It's just an amazing store. And you could really, it's like window shopping. You go lunch hour and you walk around, and half the time you're miserable because you can't afford anything, and the other half of the time you're getting samples. Well, I look back at that, Vinny. Now, it was very, very interesting to me because I had a British fiance who's still my best friend to this day. And I learned a lot about British culture. So, although when I was broken up with her for about 5 years or 6 years and had married actually someone else, it reminded me of her originally. It reminded me of her. Like, she had told me about the park that her mother used to take her to. She lived near Seven Oaks. Now it's One Oak. In 1988 or 89, a big storm took down 6 of the oaks. Very nice area, about 20 minutes from London. And I went to that park that she told me about. And of course, you're going to think about her because 6 years ago, if you would have asked us, we were going to be there together walking around that park, and she'd be telling me, "Oh, that's where I used to sit." Um, there is always a signpost up ahead, as Rod Serling would say, to give you a wake up call. There's always a song that, if you listen long enough to the radio or streaming, it'll bring you down. There'll be one song, oh my God, I heard that the day my father died, something like that. These are the checks and balances of life. These are the checks and balances. And what we do with them is crucial because it gets us ready for the moment. If we read all those signposts and take heed to when you're the older person at the table, you're prepared for it. You boarded up the windows before the storm. But most of us don't do that because if you board up the windows, you know there's going to be some damage. If you have a gorgeous garden, what are you going to unplant everything? You know it's going to be destroyed. So instead of preparing for the storm, we make believe we're never going to be 70. And then the hurricane hits and we wonder why the house comes down or the windows blow out. We knew it was coming. It was too hurtful to admit that it was going to get here. Some people never plan. And when I was a stockbroker, I used to tell when I first started working, I'd sell P&C and life and health. And people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. And that is so relevant in today's conversation, this early evening's conversation, because none of us want to fail. None of us want to sit in a home, in your home, in your elder years, saying, I should have done this because I could have afforded to do that. In the Marines, they call it stinking thinking, where you, if you follow a premise that's wrong, you're not going to get there. If I give you the wrong directions to Broadway, if you are from out of town, and you just follow Waze, when I pointed toward Long Island, if you follow Waze, I guarantee you're not going to get there with those directions. Some people would, within 5 or 10 minutes, say, this doesn't seem like the way, and recalibrate. Some people would drive 2 hours. And that's what we do in life. We don't plan to not get to Broadway. We failed to come up with a game plan to get us there. If you had a field with no landmines, you'd never learn how to dodge. And learning how to dodge, you get quicker. Think of Rocky chasing the chicken, right? You get quicker, you get more agile, and you win the big fight because you learn that you can embrace problems and say, good, it's just going to get me better. And these old sayings would, get you stronger, all that stuff. It does. Only if you allow it to. Or you could shrivel up and call it a life and blame it on everything else. Oh, really? Hoboken's nice. Very yuppie now, Pauline, Hoboken. The rents are very expensive now in Hoboken. It's trendy because you can work in the city and live in Hoboken for half the price. So not anymore. It's not half the price anymore, but it used to be, 15 minutes out, whether going through the Lincoln Tunnel or PATH train. But I just think that if we stopped worrying about what we don't have and started realizing what we do have, well, get back to Mitch again. Mitch has lost some tangible items through his cancer diagnoses. But what he's lost with that, he's gained an inner strength and a diagnosis that the doctor feels that it's manageable. There are people, as bad as Mitch thinks his life is right now, when he goes in once a week for his shot, they would change places with him in a nanosecond. If the doctor came over to him and said, listen, you're not going to be able to have a car anymore and not just run to Dunkin' Donuts if you want, but you're going to be alive. Or you can have the car, but you only have a year. I don't know anyone who would say, fuck my life, give me the car. Well, actually, I do. Mitch probably. But you know what I mean? Mitch has the world by the balls because cancer is not killing him. It's annoying the shit out of him, but he is able to probably make plans for 3 years from now. A lot of people that go to that office can't. Now, it's easy to say because I have a car, but I can tell you with enough certainty to say it here as a fact. If you gave me the option never to drive again or live, come tow the car. Things are easier said than done, true. But there's a reason why everything happens. And when you have a lot of time on your hands, good thoughts very rarely, when you're in a bad way, trudge through. It's usually the negative ones. When your girlfriend comes over to you, we have to have a talk. Generally speaking, it's not, we have to have a talk. Did I tell you I love you 3 times today? That's usually not happening. There are certain things that we have to get ready for. One of them is that life isn't guaranteed to be as easy as it is right now, 7:15 on Monday evening, March 23rd. And if we just live with the premise that we have it pretty good right now, you won't be all that disappointed. Because we're always thinking about the past and the future. No one's ever thinking about right now, right? What I'm going to do Friday night, what we did last year. No one says, right now, I'm actually feeling good. My shoulder, it hurts, but it's getting there. I'm probably going to go with, I'm skipping my golf trip with Ira. We go down usually to see his brother who lives in Sunset Beach in North Carolina, and we play golf for about 3 or 4 days. We're skipping that. We're going to Vegas instead. So instead of doing this, I'll be throwing the dice because the shoulder's fine going this way. And the doctor said 6 months, no golf. And I couldn't do it now. So that's what we're going to do. Before then, I'm probably going out toward the end of April to Lee to spend his birthday with him in April in Florida. So I have a full dance card the next 2, 3 months. I feel very fortunate that I have really cool things to look forward to. And I'm relatively healthy where I can say, oh, I'll probably get to those places. Some people aren't. Those are the people that I really feel badly for. But there's always something special we want that we can't seem to get. And it doesn't seem to be, it's not shooting for the stars. It's like shooting for the corner, but we just can't get there because there's a roadblock. You know, if the road's closed, you could want to get 5 more feet as much as you want. But if it's locked down, you can't. And you feel, but it's only 5 feet away. I could practically hop over and touch it. And that's what frustrates you. You like the Beatles? Hey, thank you. Yeah, I got this at the Beatle convention a couple of years ago. Thank you. I don't even think it was all that much money either. $50 or something. I love it because it matches everything. But I appreciate that. And I don't remember if you've said it before, but thank you if you have. That means you really must like it. Thanks for coming in. So this moment in time right now is the fire sweater. Hey, Chucky. What fire sweater? This? How are you, man? God, now that I'm looking at my background here, God, I wish I had an apartment that looked over LA like that. Not New York. Well, LA back in the day when LA was okay. Now forget about it. But imagine having a cool studio looking out at LA like this. Oh, I'm doing good, Chunky. Yeah, I figured. I hope you're doing well, Chunky. Chunky is one of the most talented guys putting together stuff on YouTube. Took me 4 years to learn to put the live button on. Do you know, Chunky, I mean this, the first time I ever did a live where I set it up, I was flowing. And I'm getting texts. I thought you were coming on. I didn't press it twice. I wasn't live. That should have been a sign right there. Ben, tell StreamYard, cancel. But I did it. But yeah, look, we're going to have days. Oh, let me just tell you, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, Chunky, it's interesting. I mean to tell you that, I've kept the camera on and fucking started undressing. Crazy. But Wednesday night at 8 p.m., my friend Jeff Green, I know him 40 years. We bounced at clubs as security. He worked for the Mets in the spring training facility every spring. And he'll be on, and we're going to do the Mets, the prediction for this upcoming season. And we'll cover other teams too. We'll throw the Yankees in there because Jeff's a Yankee fan. And so Wednesday night, come in at 8 o'clock. But, I'll tell you something. When I think of all the time that I wasted worrying about wasting time, think about it. It's like standing on the corner waiting to get discovered. And the only thing that you discover is that you weren't discovered. All we do, hey, Gerald. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Gerald, you have to come on Wednesday night if you want. I'll drop you a link. You can come on. Yeah, I'm ready for baseball. As soon as the NCAA gets to the final 16, that's usually during the first week of baseball, then you know that next stop, Memorial Day, Memorial Day, next stop. And then before you know it, it's incredible. Right after July 4th, Labor Day comes on, you're like a week. It feels like a week or two pass, and Labor Day comes up. But yeah, I'm going to take some trips this summer. I was looking to go to England, and I was talking to my friend Eddie, and I wanted to go to Liverpool. I don't think I'll end up. Well, I'm going to try to do it in August. Just me, get out, go for 5 days. Well, I know a couple of people in England. Um, my friend Courtney has a couple of family members still there that they're in their 80s. No, well, actually, two of her cousins are probably in their mid 50s, maybe. I haven't seen them in 40 years. Gerald, absolutely. Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Come in up. You'll come on. And I would go see them. Actually, London is odd now. It's changed since I was there. But I show you guys this. This is my ID from 1991. I used to bring people to the Gloucester. That's my passport picture. It looks like that. The Gloucester Sporting Club. You could see Victoria Road or something. And I used to take clients there. So I don't even know if it's there anymore. I used to stay at the Gloucester. I want to go see if that's there, that casino. I remember I wanted to take clients there the first time I was there, and I was so embarrassed because I didn't know they had to run you through Interpol to get your ID. So it took 2 weeks, and then I got it. But they had to run you through Interpol back then. I guess it wasn't like it is now. Now you could just run someone in an hour. Back then, they took my prints and all that. It was like James Bond, though, when I went in there, when I finally brought people in there. White glove service. It was like Casino Royale. It was amazing. It was unreal. But, yeah, baseball season's here. I am a season ticket holder, but I'm meeting my friend Joe Thursday. It's supposed to be 47 degrees. I'm not going to sit in 47-degree weather. I'll sell the ticket and go meet my friend Joe from Jersey. Meet him. So I have a full week. I teach Wednesday. My Thursday class, I'm not going to be teaching Thursdays, which is a little bit of a relief, actually. Not enough people signed on. And it's a little bit of a relief. I'm going to be doing a second class, but that'll probably be on Tuesdays, and that might start the week later. But it's fine. Gives me a little bit extra time. What happened was I was doing a great composers of the 20th century class, and I was teaching Broadway tunes and stuff. So Tuesday, I'd have to come in for 2 hours, and the people from the Thursday class would come in, and we would work on what they were going to do Thursday. And I had a podium, and I would, it wasn't a requisite, but I would tell them a little story about how a play was formalized and all that, and when it came out. And it would be very congruent to what I was talking about, each song, what it meant, and all that. And I was going to do Miss Saigon for the first of the new composer classes, but the composer class got canceled. So I have a little extra time because I used to have to go Tuesdays and then Thursdays. Tuesdays I wasn't getting paid for. I was hitting rush hour because there was only an open classroom at 3 o'clock in the school. So I had to face rush hour there and then rush hour home. Took me an hour and 15, hour and 20 to get there. And then it took me an hour and a half to get home, to go 11 miles, whatever it is. Pain in the ass. So I'm kind of glad that got canceled. I'll be able to only take 1 day off to go to Vegas. I'm looking forward to Vegas. I really am. We'll do that in May. And that's going to be fun. Oh, really? Wow. That's interesting. How far are you out of London, Pauline? Jeff is on here. I wonder if he wants to come on. Maybe Jeff will come on and say hi for a bit. $200 miles. Yeah, that's in the Soho district. Yeah, Ronnie Scott and Peter King opened that up in the late 50s. That's been there a long time. I was there. It's nice, the Soho district of London. I used to hang there. It was nice. Good place. I wonder if they've refurbished it. It was very eclectic back in the day, early 90s. I was 91. I was there. Oh, right. You're 200. You're up the M1? Liverpool, right? Is that the M1 that goes straight down to London from Liverpool? Well, Liverpool's north, so you'd have to go down. M1, you could do it probably in what, 4 hours? 3 hours, 3.5? I used to hang out. I don't know if you're familiar with London that much, but near Piccadilly there was the Hard Rock, and I used to hang out there. I was there in 91 when the dollar was a hamburger in McDonald's American was like $7. It was almost 3 to 1. Train is 2 hours. Yeah, I think it's the M1 though that goes. Yeah, I wouldn't drive. I didn't. I took lorries, cabs when I was there, or I used the tube. I never drove. I was there for a while. No, I wouldn't want to drive there. Oh, the train's easy. How many pounds does it cost? I'm guessing. Let me guess. £20 each way? I'm probably off by 19 pounds. I'm guessing £20 each way. Yeah, the train is easier. That's nice, Pauline. I'm glad you had a good time. You must have really wanted to go to that club. 200 miles. That's like me saying, God, I feel like a Philly cheesesteak. Do you want to go to Philly? Don't laugh. I have driven to Philly an hour and 40 away for a cheesesteak and then came home. But you don't want to be like me, because then you'll have the doctor with a chart in front of him. He didn't show up today. But you see, that's a great thing. See, that's a nice thing to do. To just decide to go into London proper and hang out and go to Soho and be a mod. Would you be a mod or a rocker? Pauline, I think you're a lot younger than me. But would you be a mod or a rocker? What would you say you are? 120? Oh, you did? You're a mod? Yeah. Me too. Me too. Back in the early 70s in London, they had the skinheads. They had, you had Deptford. Did you ever go to Deptford? I think Deptford was rough. A lot of the surrounding. No, I went to Kensington. My ex lived in Kensington and then Seven Oaks. But yeah, there's so many beautiful areas that are 20 minutes outside of the city. But that's great. I'm glad you had a great time. Oh, you went first class. Oh, no wonder it was $1.20. Well, listen, you deserve it, Pauline. You deserve it. I like when they say you only live once. Of course, couldn't afford to live twice. Can't even afford to live now. You gonna live twice? Tottenham. Oh boy, did you? Oh, okay. Wow, that's interesting. I did you ever go to Wembley? Wembley was amazing. I never went to a concert. I passed Wembley, the old Wembley. I never went to a concert there. I did go, Pauline. I saw the Mousetrap when I was there in London. I saw the Smiths, not the Smiths. Was it the Smiths? It might have been just Morrissey alone or the Smiths. I'm glad, Pauline. Yeah, I went to the Albert Hall. The Albert Hall was nice. Very nice. It's like Radio City, the Albert Hall. Very nice. I'm glad you had a good time and you certainly deserve it. We are not put on this earth to just suffer. But the key is we have to be the conductor. I can give you a Maserati. If you get into the driver's seat and say, wow, this is nice, and never start the car, you're not getting anywhere. I could have a little rundown piece of shit outside, and I'm going to get to my place if I just put it on drive, in drive. You have to want to live your life, Pauline. Like you said, you just go out and do it. I tell my friend Mitch, call and show up. Be where people are. You don't need a formal invitation to go everywhere when you know people are hanging out. Because eventually you become one of the regulars. What does regular mean? You frequent. Oh, the Albert, another Scouser. Oh boy. They understand your accent? Scousers are different. Liverpool is certainly different. That's great though. Frankie goes to Hollywood. Yeah, Albert Hall was great. It was beautiful, very classy. I went to I saw the Mousetrap, which was a play there, one of the longest running plays in London. I don't even know if it's still around. Um, Victoria Station. You know, I used to hang out in some places, and there was a good bar, Laddie's. And it's interesting because Ladbrokes, the betting shop, was right there near Harrods. And I always thought that it was the same owner because Laddie's for Ladbroke. I used to go in the morning. I had nothing to do. I'd be betting horses from Ireland. Crazy, a lunch hour. I'd go. When I first got to London, I didn't realize that the tube closed at midnight. I think it was the blue line that I used to have to take back to the flat. And I was all nervous. I was at the Hippodrome. And there's gates on the tube, the underground, the gate. I said, what? How am I going to? I got a lorry. And you know why the lorries were big? You know why they had those big lorries? You know, the very big kind of, I forget what they call them, but very tall, because lorry is a taxi, people, because in the old days, men and women wore hats. Men wore top hats in the old days, and ladies had hats. And those cabs were made because you wore your hat. Well, I worked there, Pauline, and my plan was to go to Butlins, hang out. I did actually go to Butlins, July of '92 for the day, the seaside. Hackney cabs, yeah, they were tall because of hats that people wore. The double-decker buses back then, I remember you could smoke on the top. That's why they had the double-decker, so you could smoke on the top. Oh yeah, I know a lot about London. I had a fiance that was corrupting me because her dream was to retire to the coast, the Isle of Wight. Ever been to the Isle of Wight? That was beautiful. I went there. Isle of Wight was nice. And she wanted to get a cottage in the Isle of Wight when we retired. I think she said that to me. I knew it 2 hours. She was like planning our wedding already. But yeah, Liverpool. Do you still have the Echo in Liverpool? Is that the newspaper there? The Echo? I remember a paper, the Echo, I think. But I used, I love London. First of all, I didn't have to battle language barrier. It was okay. I didn't have to learn a new language. And I had a ball. I loved it. You certainly learn about yourself when you are in another country. First of all, if you're in another country alone, or if you travel alone, you have to like yourself. You kind of have to like yourself. There's loads of places in the UK I should visit. The Echo, I'm laughing my head off. Why are you laughing? The Echo doesn't exist? I thought it was a paper back then. You should visit places in the UK. I've never been to the Empire State Building. I passed it. I never went to the Statue of Liberty. I can go on the roof and see it. What the hell do I have to go there for? People go and park by the water. They don't say we have to swim. I knew that. Yeah, I was in London for a while. I would have moved to London. Now it's all Pakistani, but back then there was some Pakistani when I was there, especially in Piccadilly Circus. I have some pictures of me. I'll get them from England. I showed you my ID for the club. Yeah, near the Echo. Yeah. There is so much that I want to do before I take the dirt nap. Now you can't even say dirt nap because you don't even know if maybe it'll cremate you. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Whatever I turn out to be. Jack Dempsey's, no. Jack Dempsey's I don't think is there anymore. You have Midtown. That was a famous place. Sinatra used to hang out at Jack Dempsey's. Yeah, all the old timers hung out at Jack Dempsey's in the 40s and 50s. Very big spot. It was like 47th Street or something. 43rd Street, maybe. He was supposed to come on. Where is he? I get all these notifications. Hell is that? That might be a sign that I have to do that song in the shorts tonight. You are everything and everything is you. Yeah, Jack Dempsey's, I never went. There was a lot of good places in New York. Midtown, I used to hang out. I worked at Shout, which was on 43rd. Oh, so maybe it is there. Oh, okay. I didn't even know it was still there. Let me see. Where is Jack Dempsey's located?
The only option I found is Jack Dempsey's on West 33rd Street.
West 33rd Street. I thought it was Midtown. Well, that's kind of Midtown. I never was there. Wow. I thought it was closed. Hey, Christian. I'm going to have to go there now. I'll check it out. But yeah, I loved England. I mean, man, when I first got there, the flights you left Kennedy at night. I'd fly into Heathrow, and Heathrow was like 40 minutes to London. And oh, did he? Yeah, that was Sinatra's place. He used to hang out there all the time. All the old timers used to hang out there. Very famous place. I always loved the Queen, all that shtick, the properness of all that. I always thought that was really cool. I don't know why. I just always metalcore music. Oh, Christian. Well, Christian's young. Christian, give me a song to play tonight, and I'll put it on. Pick your song for tonight. It'll go out to you. Let me write it down. Which one are we going to do? Why don't you guys pick songs for my shorts tonight? And you'll get shouted out. Pauline, give me a song for tonight. Tires don't fall. You got it. They don't hold up either. I live in New York. I've had more bubbles in my tires than in a fucking bathtub from hitting potholes. Okay, that goes to Christian. Tires don't fall. Pauline, give me a song, dear. And Lee, and Mitch, and Chunky, if you're still there, Gerald, Eel, Travis, Pauline, Born in Time. Into the Mystic. All right, Travis. Heat is on, Gerald. Great song. I like Party Town too. Oh, you got it. Yeah, I love Glenn Frey. Shame he passed away. I saw the Eagles in 93. 94. The Hell Freezes Over tour when they got back. McLean's good. I would think he'd have some growing pains, though. His control, that could be a bit of an issue if they lay off some of those pitches. But he's got outstanding stuff. His stuff moves more than Paul Skeens, but Skeens throws 99 consistently, and he has an amazing slider. But if you look at the movement, McLean's stuff moves more than Paul Skeens. I'm not saying he's as good as Paul Skeens, but I think that McLean's going to be good this year. If I had to guess, and I was going to do this for Wednesday night, 15-7, 2.9 ERA, 165 innings, 170 innings, probably get the 200 strikeouts. Throwing it all away. Mitch. That's a great song. Oh, good. I got my songs for tonight. You made it so easy. Yeah, that's a great song. Yeah, that's a really good song, Mitch. So, all of you, thank you. We're almost on an hour. Pauline, why aren't you sleeping? It's 12:45 a.m. Where Pauline is in London, in Liverpool. But thank you for coming in, Pauline. It's always wonderful when you come in, my English pal, my Scouser. And Wednesday night, 8 p.m., Gerald's going to come on with Jeff, and I'll have another surprise guest on, and we are going to talk Mets, and we'll talk some other baseball. We'll talk Gerald's team. Travis, I'm glad you did too. Do you wear a Brooklyn Guy hat, Travis? I'm really glad you did. I'll tell you something. when I very rarely do I do a show on depression, right? And I did it for the young lady last night or the night before, but if I don't put you to sleep, nothing will, Pauline. But thank you. It's been a pleasure having you, believe me. Um, so Wednesday night, we'll talk some baseball. Thursday's opening day. And next stop, Memorial Day. We have some birthdays coming up. Mitch's birthday is April 1st. My bandmate and my dear friend Fred will be 68, I believe, for Wednesday. And got some other birthdays coming up. Thank God it's not mine. Lee's in April. It figures Mitch was born on April Fool's Day. That's just so perfect. So perfect. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in. God bless you all. And I will see you soon. Good night, Pauline.